Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube NFL prediction segment, I'm going to be giving you my picks and analysis for Week 3 of the 2021 NFL season. Now, the first game is going to be Carolina at Houston. I'm going to take Carolina on the road in this one. Carolina has certainly superseded expectations this season. They're 2-0 to start out the season. They are number one in pass defense, run defense, um, defensive sacks, scoring defense, and total defense. And I think they're going to bring a relentless pass rush against the Houston quarterback, and it's not going to be Tyrod Taylor because he has been ruled out. I think it's going to be very tough for the quarterback that's playing to get this job done in this particular matchup. Houston does have something going for them that they are at home in this game. They didn't. I mean, they played Cleveland fairly well last week. They were competitive against them, but with Tyrod Taylor out, I'm just a little dubious in this one for Houston. So I'm going to take Carolina to get the W on the road. Now the next game is going to be the Washington football team at the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo Bills had a very good bounce back win last week. I do believe they're going to continue this trend. They're going to win at home this week against the Washington football team. The Washington football team came out with a good win last week, but it was against the Giants. It was a home game, and that game could have gone either way. Now they got to go on the road and all. I mean, I just feel like in this particular game, I mean, it obviously favors the Bills with Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen. They're just I think they're gonna play exceptionally well. The passing game against the secondary of the Washington football team, and I do like them to get this done at home. So I'm going to take the Buffalo Bills at home. Now the next game, got the Chicago Bears at the Cleveland Cleveland Browns, and the Cleveland Browns, obviously, I mean, right now they're head and shoulders better, of course, than Chicago. Cleveland played Kansas City very well in Week 1, though they did lose. The Chicago Bears look like right now that I don't know what's going on, if their quarterback situation is in disarray. They are their offense has not really looked very good at this point in time, and I don't know what they're going to be able to do against the Cleveland Browns on the road. I don't know if Andy Dalton's going to be playing or they're going to put Justin Fields in there, but we will, we'll see what happens. But the Cleveland Browns right now, I think their pass rush could be a very good difference maker in this game against against the offensive line of the Chicago Bears. So I'm going to take the Cleveland Browns to get this one done at home. Now the next game, the Baltimore Ravens at the Detroit Lions. Now that Baltimore Ravens ravenous defense may not really be there right now, but their offense has been in high gear. I believe they're the #1 rushing team right now in the NFL. And the Detroit Lions, they come off a game against the Green Bay Packers in which they played well in the first half, and then the second half they just looked like they fell apart. They didn't really play. Let's say necessarily fell apart, but it looked like the Detroit offense just couldn't quite get in sync in that second half, and the Green Bay Packers tight clamped down on their offense in the second half of that game. Now the Baltimore Ravens right now, they beat Kansas City last week, and they have some swagger going into this game. The only thing they have to be concerned about right now is overconfidence and being too cocky going into this particular matchup. Detroit really wants to get this W. It would mean they don't want to, just go out and lose this game, Week 3, and start off the season really slow. Baltimore comes in. They are a team now that likely believes that they can actually come out of the AFC. Right now, I think we'll look at the Baltimore Ravens, and the quarterback from Lamar Jackson and his legs. I think that could be the difference in this game. So I'll take the Ravens on the road. Now the next game, well, I'm going to take the Tennessee Titans at home against the Indianapolis Colts. There was a time where the Indianapolis Colts just simply dominated the series, and now Tennessee is really, I think we could say, unequivocally, they're the better team right now. The Tennessee Titans, they had a good bounce back week last week. They had a very tough win against the Seattle Seahawks on the road after basically coming out flat in week 1 at home. I don't think that's going to happen in this game in week 3. I do like the Titans to get this one done at home. I like Derrick Henry, the running back. I think he's going to play well against the run defense of the Indianapolis Colts. That could be one of the key difference makers. So I'll take the Titans at home. Now the next game. Well, the next game, I'm going to take the Kansas City Chiefs at home against the Los Angeles Chargers. The Los Angeles Chargers seem like they're that team. I mean, last week, epitomizes, what's been happening with them in recent time. I mean, they lost a game, field goal to the Cowboys, and you look at the Kansas City Chiefs. Okay, they did lose last week. They did not really. I mean, they played very well on offense, but the thing about the Kansas City Chiefs is that what people don't really talk about much, despite their dominance, their near invincibility, is that they do give up a lot of points. Their defense is not really that good, and at some point it may catch up with them. I understand their philosophy seems to be, okay, we're going to outscore you, but at some point in time, the defensive end is, they're going to have to step it up on defense. I think if they want to come out of the AFC at least this season, but they're not going to have to worry about that too much against the Chargers, because the Chargers simply, I don't think, are going to be able to keep up with Kansas City on the offensive end. I like Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce in this one. Tyreek Hill, I think they're going to run rampant over the Chargers defense, and I'm going to take the Chiefs at home. Now the next game. Well, I'm going to take in this particular matchup, I'm going to take New England at home over the New Orleans Saints. The New Orleans Saints, to me, I think we're starting to see maybe an identity crisis with them. They looked, they came out like gangbusters in that first game against Green Bay. They looked like world beaters. Then what happens is the next week, they just really couldn't do much of anything. Now, the Patriots in week 1, they played a close game that was competitive. But in week 2, they blew out, annihilated the Jets. Those are the Jets, though. But New England is at home in this one. I think their rookie quarterback is going to continue just to really make progress and evolve. I do, in being at New England in this game, and I do like the Patriots to get this one done. Get this one done at home and move to 2-1 on the season. So anyway, I'm going to take the Patriots to win that game. Now the next game, the Atlanta Falcons at the New York Giants. Well, the Falcons are just giving up points like there's no tomorrow. The Giants come off a very disheartening loss last week to the Washington football team. That game could have gone either way. The Giants knew they had that game, and now this is going to be at home. I do like the Giants to get their first win of this NFL season. The NFC East, the good thing about it is that you might not really be out of it until week 15 of the season or so for these teams, because really, I like the Cowboys likely to win this division by default, basically, because of the lack of competition from the other 3 teams. But the Giants are still going to be in this game. The Giants could have easily been 1-1 on the season. And the Atlanta Falcons just look like they're really missing Julio Jones, to say the absolute least. And I think in this game with the Falcons and giving up all their points, what they're doing on defense, I think the Giants defense is going to be a little bit better in this one. and that could be one of the key differences. So I'm going to take the Giants to win this one at home. Hold on a moment, people. Now, sorry about that, I'm back. But anyway, now the next game, the Cincinnati Bengals at the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's funny, once upon a time, it seemed like around 5 years ago or so, that this would be almost like a marquee matchup. It would be very, see this is very competitive, a divisional game. But Pittsburgh, despite their loss last week, I still think they're head and shoulders better than the Bengals. They will be at home in this matchup. Pittsburgh comes off a tough loss to the Las Vegas Raiders, who may actually be underrated this season. But the Pittsburgh Steelers, I think, with Ben Roethlisberger, they're going to bounce back. They're going to be resilient enough to get this victory. I believe, and it is at home. And I don't know if the Bengals can, put up enough points to really keep up with the Steelers in this particular matchup. Pittsburgh's going to want to redeem themselves after a poor outing last week, and I think it's going to be too much for the Bengals, so I'm going to take the Steelers to win this one at home. Well, now the next game, we have Arizona at Jacksonville. I'm going to take the Arizona Cardinals on the road to beat the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jacksonville Jaguars right now, I mean, they look like, to me, like they're in reclamation mode. They can't really do much of anything. They're 0-2. Arizona's 2-0 right now, and the Arizona Cardinals, in the last week, they had a very, it was a tough win against the Minnesota Vikings. They did pull it out, though, and they trounced the Titans in week 1. And I look at it very simply that if you could beat those teams, you should be able to beat Jacksonville, even though it's on the road. And I don't really see where Jacksonville, again, I mean, I've used this before, stated some other games, as far as the points go, can they really keep up with the Cardinals in this game? And the thing is, I don't know if the offensive line is going to be enough for the Jacksonville Jaguars to combat or counteract the defensive front for the Cardinals. So I think the pass rush of the Cardinals is going to be significant in this game, and it's going to play a very key role in the outcome. So I'm going to take the Cardinals to get this one done on the road. Now the next game, I'm going to take Denver at home against the New York Jets. And I'm a Jets fan, and I'm obviously really furlong despondent. The Jets are just in perpetual reclamation mode. The Jets, the quarterback threw 4 interceptions last week, and I think in this particular game, you have the Denver Broncos with their defense, their line. It's going to be it's a road game for the Jets, and the Jets really have looked abysmal on offense right now. And I just don't know if they're even going to be able to put up 2 touchdowns against the Denver Broncos. I really don't have much faith in them, having much continuity on offense, sustaining drives in this game. I do like Denver to get this with touchdown Teddy Bridgewater. I expect them to get this done at home. Denver beat the Giants earlier this season, and that was a road game for Denver. And a home game against the Jets, it shouldn't be much of a problem for them. So I'm going to take the Broncos to win this one at home. Now the next game, well, I'm going to take the Las Vegas Raiders at home against the Miami Dolphins. The Las Vegas Raiders right now, it's only 2 games. I don't get too ecstatic yet, but Las Vegas Raiders have looked good, and it seems like right now, John Gruden is getting this team in the right direction. It's taken him a few years to do this, but what's happening is that the Las Vegas Raiders right now are just clicking on all cylinders. Derek Carr could very well be an underrated quarterback. He's leading the NFL in passing yards right now. You have Miami going into this game. Miami, I mean, we don't really know who's going to, show up. They did look good. Miami Dolphins look very good in week 1. And the thing is, though, the Las Vegas Raiders are at home. They were good enough to beat Pittsburgh last week, and you look at the Miami Dolphins. Can they really go on the road and pull this one out against the Las Vegas Raiders, who have shown really some improvement, though it's early? I know last season, I think the Las Vegas Raiders started out at 6-3, and then they faltered down the stretch and they missed the postseason. I know the possibility exists that could happen. Something comparable with them could happen this season. I don't think that's going to happen. I think they're going to be a little more stable this season, more consistent, and be able to play well from the early part of the season to the end of the season. I'm going to take the Las Vegas Raiders to get this one done at home. Now, the next game, we got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on the road against the Los Angeles Rams. Wow, this is going to be a really good game. I wouldn't be shocked if the Rams actually get this done. I'm almost tempted to pick them in this one, but I'm going to take the Tampa Bay Buccaneers reluctantly in this one. It's interesting that Tom Brady last week had said something about, well, we could get better. Part of the reason I think he says that is it's a motivational tactic. He's trying to give the team incentive to keep playing better and not to get complacent, to stay focused, do what they have to do week in and week out. And I think it might have had something to do with the fact they are going against the Rams this coming week. And the Rams have looked very good this season. They did have a very tight game last week against the Indianapolis Colts that could have really gone either way. And we're going to see soon if the Rams are a little overhyped or overrated and what's really going on with them. Tampa Bay, we know how consistent they are. They've won like 10 consecutive games going back to last season. I think they're going to keep this going, keep rolling, and they're going to win this game. I think it'll be a competitive game, but I do like them to get this done on the road, maybe by a touchdown. So I'll take the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to get this done. Now the next game, I'm going to take the Seattle Seahawks on the road reluctantly against the Minnesota Vikings. It's just hard for me to envision the Seattle Seahawks really starting out 1-2. It just doesn't seem like 1-2 in Seattle belong in the same sense. Now Minnesota played very well last week. They were in a game that could have gone either way against the Arizona Cardinals, but they just lost it at the the end of the game. Couldn't finish the deal. The Seattle Seahawks, their run defense was like eviscerated last week. They just let up. I mean, Derrick Henry was running like roughshod over. He ran rampant in that game. And that defense, that run defense in Seattle, and I understand they went against Derrick Henry. He's one of the best running backs in the NFL, if not the best RB in the NFL. But Seattle, I think they'll just get their run defense just enough rectified enough, improved enough to get this job done on the road. I wouldn't be shocked if Minnesota pulls this out, but I'm going to take Seattle to get this one done on the road. Anyway, don't mind me, moment people. I got to scroll down and see the rest of these games. What's coming up next after the Seattle-Minnesota game? Okay. Well, then next game. Okay, well, Green Bay at San Francisco. Well, this is one of those classic coin flips. I've been a little, ambivalent as far as this game goes, and this is, you're looking at the Green Bay Packers, who come off a very good win last week against the Detroit Lions. San Francisco is 2-0 right now, though. Green Bay defeated San Francisco, and last time they played them last season was like 34-17. I think it was in San Francisco, actually. Can they duplicate that? I think it's going to be a tight game. Green Bay does have to go on the road. San Francisco is really, they have they want to seek retribution in this game after what happened to them last season at Green Bay. And reluctantly, again, I'm going to take a team. I'm going to take the Green Bay Packers to get this one done. I won't be shocked if San Francisco does win this game. It is going to be at home. It'll be at San Francisco. It is going to be Sunday night football, primetime game. All lights are going to be on these teams, and it should be a very good game. And we're going to find out. It's very early. I know it's week 3, but we're going to find out. We may find out a lot about. I find out a lot about Green Bay and San Francisco in this game, because if Green Bay loses and San Francisco wins, Green Bay is going to be 1-2, and the 49ers will be flawless 3-0. And though it'll be early, you figure. I mean, San Francisco will be 2 games ahead of Green Bay after 3 games, and a lot of people would never speculate or envision that. If Green Bay wins, they'll be 2-1, and people will be saying, "Well, Green Bay's back to their old self. They should, finish strong this season and make it into the postseason, likely win the division, etc." And then San Francisco will drop to 2-1, and some people may speculate, well, maybe the first 2 games with the 49ers were a flash in the pan. They weren't. That's not really who they truly are. And we're going to see, this is the game right now for the 49ers. If they win this game, they could show a lot of people out there that they may be very competitive this season and can play with just about anybody if they can win this game against the Packers. But I am going to take the Packers to win this one in a tight battle on the road. Now, last but not least, I'm looking at I got to go down a little bit, people. I'm trying to see this final game. Monday night, Philadelphia at Dallas. Well, right now, I mean, mainly on virtue of the home field advantage, I'll take the Dallas Cowboys. Now, the Eagles did not play well last week against the 49ers. They put up like 11 points in that game. The Cowboys, though, their game went down to the wire. They got a game-winning field goal near the end of the game or at the end of it, and as against the Chargers. The Eagles now are going to Dallas, being at home, I think, with Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott at home. Monday night matchup. It's just hard for me to envision them losing this game at home. The Eagles right now, they look very good in week 1. And then week 2, they kind of fell on their faces. What's going to happen in week 3? I don't see them. I don't want to say that the Eagles are going to go on a complete downward spiral the rest of the way, but I just don't think they're going to get their second win against the Dallas Cowboys. I think the Cowboys right now, when I see them, they are they're actually a very stout team. I think they'll finish with a winning record. I do have them winning the division this season. They did everything but beat Tampa Bay in week 1, and then they won last week. You can play competitively against Tampa Bay. I think you could win at home against the Eagles, and that's how I see this game. So I'm going to take the Dallas Cowboys to win this one at home. I'm thinking by like 7 to 10 points. Anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube NFL prediction segment. Until next time, people, Edwin Learnard saying stay well.